Hello, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're here for the first time. If you're new here, my name is Sarah. I'm a certified life and business coach, and I help heart-centered service providers, spiritual practitioners, and creatives build lives and businesses of their dreams. I've been going live every day in January to talk about goal setting and making sure that you reach your New Year's resolutions, making sure that 2024 is the year that you want it to be. But I always go live on the first day of a new astrological season to share an oracle card reading for the collective. And today, the sun has moved into Aquarius, and so has Pluto. Pluto is a generational sign, a transpersonal sign. It's the first time Pluto has stationed in Aquarius for 248 years, so it's a big deal. It's going to be here for 19 years. So today is the first day of the rest of your goddamn life in a very literal way. And this reading gives me big Pluto and Aquarius vibes. This reading gives me everything you know is changing, everything is getting shaken up to the core vibes. And I'm excited to share it with you. I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. So, Aquarius is a sign. They're the water bearer, but it's an air sign. And one of the ways that I think about Aquarius is that it like gathers up all of the emotions, all of the thoughts, all of the concepts of everyone in the world and like transmutes them into new forward thinking kind of radical ideas and then pours them back down to humanity. Aquarians think differently. I have an Aquarian brother. I've been in a long relationship with an Aquarius. If you are an Aquarius or if you loved an Aquarius, then you know they think a little different. They are aliens walking among us, and we love them for that. And so Aquarius deals with the people, capital T, capital P. It deals with thoughts about humanity and how things should work. Aquarius is not super concerned with convention as much as it is concerned with progress. And I think you're going to feel that in this reading. So we always do the same 6 cards. Let me rephrase that. We always do the same 6 questions. And I'm reading from the Sacred Oracles deck, and then I'll give us a shadow that we need to focus on for the season. So the first card is about where we're at right now, what's going on right now. And the card that came up for us is After the Storm. And this card indicates that either there's been a big upheaval in your life recently, or one is coming and you can kind of feel it. And the thing to remember about a storm is that it's not necessarily a negative thing, right? Think about the phrase high pressure system. That's what a storm is. The world like gathers up all of this pressure, this atmospheric pressure, and it releases it through the storm. And the storm itself can be really intense. And then afterwards, things are clear and things are bright and the air is crisp and plants can grow and things get cleared away. So the aftermath of the storm is a really beautiful thing. But this is suggesting that there's been a big event in your life, or there is one coming. And this doesn't have to be a big external thing. It can also be internal pressure. It can be like, your emotions have been building up, letting you know that something in your life is not working for you. Something is wrong. Something is not going the way that you want it to. And this card also kind of suggests you're a little bit afraid of the storm. You're afraid of the upheaval part. And this says, look, the storm is going to come either way. So you can either try to grip and try to cling and try to resist it, or you can like act like you're on a roller coaster, put your hands up and scream and just accept that the storm is going to pass through. It might be a little easier if you don't resist. And that on the other side of it, everything that needs to be cleared out of your life is going to be cleared. Everything that needs to be brought to the surface to be examined is going to be brought to the surface. The results of the storm are the goal. And so if you're going through the storm right now and you are like, this is really heavy and I'm scared and I don't want this change, let go, let it happen. Trust that everything is happening for your highest good. If you have been feeling the pressure build up, but you're resisting acknowledging it and moving through it, you've got to acknowledge it. You've got to move through it. You have to stop resisting. And if you're just coming through the storm and you're like looking around at your life, like, what the fuck happened? Then this is a great time to really consider what got brought to light during this time that I now need to be focused on. The block that you're having, the reason you may be resisting the change, resisting going into the eye of the storm, resisting the pressure, is in the world, not of the world. Basically, there's something like sometimes we need our defenses, sometimes we need our conditioning, sometimes we need our conditioned ways of thinking about the world and ourselves and what's going on, and other times we don't. And this is a time when you don't. You are being called to let go of something that is specifically related to your way of viewing time, productivity, and money. Control. You're being asked to let go of any rigidity of views that you have. And if there's resistance to changing things, it's because of your views about time, productivity, or money. This is about your relationship to abundance and trusting that everything is going to work out the way that it's supposed to, that all of your needs are going to be met, that you're going to be okay, that you can trust life, that you can surrender, that the way of doing things as it comes to your work, your time, your money has not been working, but you're like, you feel like you can't let go of it. You feel like the only way to get more is to work harder. You're burning yourself out. Everything that you're dealing with related to time, money, and productivity is what needs to change. You need trust. This card is all about understanding that, like, you are in the world, not of the world, that you are divine being, that you are divinely protected, that you are cared for, that all your needs are going to be met, that hard work is not the only way to get things done, that you trying to control everything, especially you trying to control time, is not going to work. And so if you've been really stuck in this thing of like, I can tell that what's going on in my life, the way that things are going isn't working for me, and I really want to make changes. I'm hating what's going on in my life right now, but I feel like I can't make changes because of something related to time, money, or work. This is like saying you got to let that go. You need to trust that everything's going to be okay, and that the way you've been doing things is not the only way. It will be okay if you let go and surrender and trust the process a little bit. If you do that, the gift that will come of it is new birth guarded vigilantly. This card talks about whatever's on the other side of this transition for you after the storm, after being like, okay, hands up, I surrender. I understand that my ways of thinking about time, money, and productivity are not serving me. I need to surrender into trust. I need to surrender into faith in abundance, that I will be provided for, that everything will be okay, that working hard and trying to control everything is not the solution to getting me the things I want. On the other side of that, you're going to be very different. And what may come of that could be a new relationship, it could be a new job, it could be a new business, it could be a new project, but it could also just be a new way of operating in the world, a new way of being for yourself. And this needs to be protected. When something is new, I always think about this little sprout here. When something is like, when you're planting a new seed, you might put it like in a little cup with a little napkin until it sprouts. And then from there, you might like let it sprout a little bit and then move it into a tiny pot. And you might keep that tiny pot in your kitchen, and you're still tending it and watching over it, keeping it safe and watering it. And then when it gets a little bigger, you might put it in a slightly bigger pot and put it in the window, and you're still keeping it safe and tending it and watering it. And then when it gets bigger and stronger, you can put it outside when you know that it can deal with the elements and it can be exposed and it's going to be okay. That's going to be you after this process. You need to like keep to yourself the people who are already trustworthy in your life, the people who are resonating on the same vibe that you're about to be on, the people who already believe the things that you're coming into believing, the people who speak positivity over you, who encourage you. Those are the only people you can let around whatever new development comes of this for a little while it gets strong and sturdy, while you really get acclimated into this new way of being in your life. This is also about your sanctuary. So it can be your body, it could be your home, it can also be your mind and your thoughts. You want to keep those things pure, for lack of a better word. You want to keep those things sacred. You want to keep them clean. So this can be like a cleanse down of your home, but also like not letting certain people into your space during this time, not letting certain people come over. I'm not trying to yuck anybody's yum. I'm not trying to kink shame nobody, but like, don't let any old person be coming to your house during this period. Don't let anybody bring any old energy into your room right now. If you understand what I'm saying, be very protective of the space. Be very protective of your physical body. Be very protective about whose energy you allow close to you. Also, like, just on the old school magic, sweep your house from back to front, blow cinnamon through your front door, put a line of salt around your door, do like cleansing and protection oils in your bath products and in your hair products. Just keep everything sacred during this period and close to you so that you can nurture this period of change and transition. Also, where it comes to your thoughts, just be really aware of allowing negative thoughts to seep in, allowing um, negative self-talk, trying to talk yourself out of change, trying to tell yourself you don't deserve stuff, like anything that starts to crop up, you have to be a hard no to anything that is negative and trying to talk you out of what you're doing. So even if the person who like is bringing shady energy to what you're doing is yourself, you need to be a hard no to that. And you have to be very vigilant about protecting this new energy until it gets so normal in your life that you can withstand a little bit more kind of jostling about what's going on with you. So, the way to deal with other people during this time, the card we got is Visions of Life Beyond Death. And this card is really interesting in this placement of how to deal with the outside world during this transition, because it basically suggests that, like, you're seeing things very differently, you're perceiving things very differently, your experience of things is changing. So, and it's all in the direction of truth. You're just seeing things more clearly and you're experiencing a deeper level of truth, a spiritual level of truth. So things that didn't used to bother you before are bothering you now. Things that bothered you before don't mean anything to you anymore. They're just not a big deal. The people that you used to be comfortable with, you may not be comfortable with right now. People that you didn't used to like being around that made you uncomfortable, you might like being around now. Something is changing in how you deal with people. And so I would especially say to look at things that used to really bother you, that just you're like, oh, that it turns out like now that I'm on this different thing and I have this different perspective, those things are just not important. I was worried about the wrong thing. That is sign that you're growing. And if there's a little part of you that feels embarrassed, you're like, oh my God, I cannot believe I ever made such a big deal out of that. Don't worry about it. And be like, being cringe at your past self is a sign that you are growing and evolving. And you can just be like they're like, it's reading your teenage journal. You're like, oh, bless my heart. I was so sweet that I used to really worry about that, but I don't anymore. And that's okay because I am evolving. And this is proof that I'm evolving. Same with people around you. Like if you've been tolerating behaviors from people that are kind of corrosive to your spirit or reinforce this old way of doing things that is no longer working for you, and you were like, yeah, it's fine, I can be around it, it's not that big a deal. In this place, you might be like, no, actually, it's a really big deal. I cannot be around people who talk like that right now. I can't be around people who think like that right now. I need more space for my healing. I need more space for this change. So your guidance for dealing with the outside world during this time is really about paying attention to what feels true for you now and honoring it, honoring, honoring it. Um, Trusting that the things that feel true for you now are accurate, even if they're different than what was true for you even a few months ago, doesn't matter. What's true for you now is what you need to be paying attention to and how you need to be navigating, especially your conversations with people in your social situations. So, coming into guidance from your higher self, your spirit guides about how to deal with this transition, we've gotten this card recently, I believe, and it's going beyond normal. They're basically wanting you to know, like, yeah, you're not meant to be normal. You're not meant to live a normal life, but also this stuff about time, money, productivity, work, your old conditioning, your old ways of doing things, all of that, like earthly, society based, like this is how you do stuff. There's only one right way, straight A student, high achiever, like all that stuff. It has a place. It's not bad, but it's not the only type of wisdom and it's not the only type of intelligence. There is also your creativity. There is also your intuition. There is also the heart. So this is about putting the heart above the mind for a period and saying you've been trying to do everything from the what's the right thing to do, what's the logical thing to do, what makes the most sense. It's always been this very left brain, mind centered, follow all the rules way of being. And that's not going to work anymore. And it's not going to work through this transition. It is time to lean into your intuition, your creativity, your emotions, and to let those things guide you. And that might feel really scary if you've always been on the I follow all the rules and I do everything right and I do exactly what's expected of me and I check all of society's boxes. And that's what's caused the pressure. You're like, I did all of the things I was supposed to do to be happy and I'm not happy and it's not working. And it's like, yeah, that's because you're not supposed to be that person. That's not who you're supposed to be. So tying it back to what I was saying up top about Pluto and Aquarius and the coming into Aquarius season and it being about like shaking the foundations of how we do everything, moving into a radical, more forward thinking, less conventional way of doing things. This is not just you. This is a reading for the collective. So this is a lot of us. Things you've been putting up with that are no longer tolerable, they have to go. Ways that you've been working that are no longer tolerable, they have to go. Rigid views that you've clung to about money, time, control, productivity, power, work, they have to go. And that might be scary, but your spirit guides want you to know that's what you're designed to do. That's what you're here to do. That is the correct thing to do. It is time to go beyond what's normal because what's been normal up till now is how you've gotten the results that you've gotten and you're not happy here. So the only solution is to go beyond. You've got to do something different. And there is freedom in letting go of these things. And there's maybe been a fear in the past that if you let go of these things, like everything in your life will fall apart. And also that like you will have disastrous consequences, especially as it pertains to abundance, right? When we have these old rigid views about money and time and work, it can be so hard to get out of this idea that the only way to make money is from working harder and harder and harder and more hours. And if I don't do that, then how am I going to be successful? If I'm not in the career I thought I was going to be in, how am I going to make money? There's only one way to do it. And when we're stuck there, it can be really hard to trust that another outcome is possible, or that if we let go of that our life isn't going to just fall apart. It's not. You have to get into this trust that the old way of doing things is not the only way of doing things. And it is certainly not the right way to be doing things now, because if it was, you'd be happy and it would all be working. And that's not what's happening. So it's got to go. Final message from our spirit guides for how to bring this into manifestation in the 3D is Pandora's gift. Pandora, all gifted and all giving. What is inside Pandora's box? If you know the legend, it's hope, right? So this is about reminding yourself that if you're getting into some kind of fatalistic thinking, I keep thinking that it's all about this block. Everything related to these ideas that are holding you back about if I don't do the things that I've been doing, or if I don't keep thinking the way I'm thinking, operating the way I'm operating, working really hard in a direction that's not working, then everything's going to go bad. This is like, where's your hope at? Where is your faith that everything is going to be okay? Where's your hope that the world can work differently? Where's your hope that you can be different? Where's your hope that your relationships can be different? The hope that guides us through the biggest challenges and the darkest times, that comes to lift us up when we're in those really difficult places. That's what you need right now to bring this transition into being. So if you're trapped in fear and that's what's blocking you, you're being told you need to get on the hope train. You need to shift everything over. You need to put all of your focus into your hope. It's not foolish. It's not immature. It's not naive for you to hope. It's the engine. It is the fuel that is going to help you make this transition if all you've been able to focus on is being afraid that if you make these changes, everything's going to go bad. We got to get out of fear. And the way that you're being invited out of fear is into hope. That's all I'm going to say about that one. So I asked Spirit for a shadow for us to focus on. And this reading just could not be any more repetitive and clear. It's really trying to drive this home for us. The shadow card that we got is Get Wild. This is about your wild nature, your primal nature, not your conditioned, societal, appropriate, polite, buttoned up nature. This is about who you are underneath, who you are at your core, who you are as a mammal. This is about your inherent wildness and bringing more of your wildness, your intuition, your inherent mammal nature to the way that you're living your life. This card asks, like, when you get in touch with your wildness, like, ask your wildness how it wants to move and move that way. If your wildness was a sound, what would it sound like? If your wildness was a taste, what would it taste like? Get in touch with your own primal, intuitive nature and let that be in charge for a little bit. Brain has got to take the back seat for this transition. Your brain can help you, but we bring our brain online to help strategize the heart's plans, not the other way around. The other thing that comes up, the animal for this card, is the wolf. So thinking about prowling, thinking about being with your pack, thinking about being instinctual in your pursuit of what's important to you, thinking about, right? There's no convention, there's no what's appropriate. If you're a wolf, you got to like shed all of that and be in your primal, your desire, your hunger, your fearlessly going after what is yours and what will nourish you. The plant medicine for this card is blackberry. It talks about growing and blossoming and fruiting, even under the wildest of conditions, even when there's no water off of the side of train tracks, but also having thorns. This beautiful, this sweet, this juicy, this delectable, and will cut you if you try to take from it. So tapping into your wildness and leaning into, because this is in the placement of what is our shadow for this season, where has our wildness been tamed? Where have we been taught that our wildness is dangerous, not just to us, but to others around us, that our wildness is inappropriate, that our intuition is going to lead us astray, that our animal nature is not trustworthy? Where have we been taught to shove our wildness down because it's unpalatable or inappropriate? And what is it like? How does our life change when we let that wildness back out, when we let ourselves feel it and experience it and share it with ourselves and with others in our lives? That's what needs to be examined right now. That's what's going to help us get out of this conditioned block. And that is also what's going to help us tap into the hope that we're looking for that will sustain us through this transition. So 23 minutes, that's short for me for a reading, but I feel like it was very clear and knew exactly what it wanted to say. So that's what it is. And I'm going to leave it right there. If this was beneficial for you, if you enjoyed it, I would love it so much if you would leave me a comment and let me know. I respond to all of the comments. I really appreciate them. And while you're here, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. I do these readings at the top of each new astrological season, but usually I'm going live talking about all things related to personal development and business, creative entrepreneurship. So if those are things that you care about, I would love to have you here on the channel in this little family. Please like and subscribe. It means so much to me when you do. So many people watch these videos and don't subscribe. So click that button. Let me know that you liked it. Okay, love you. Bye.